Oh yeah! Summer season anime is in full swing. At least one episode of every show that's going to come out during the summer of 2014 for anime has come out. I've watched all of them. I've watched a few episodes of some of these shows, and I'm gonna tell you what shows I consider to be worth watching this summer. I've got 12 shows that I really liked, maybe a couple that I'll also recommend to people who I think might be interested in them. Let's get rolling. First off, my personal favorite show of the summer season has to be Monthly Girls' Nozaki-kun, or Gekkan Shoujo Nozaki-kun. This is a cute, hilarious show based on a 4-panel comic, a shonen manga that's actually a parody of shoujo manga. It's about this girl who falls in love with a boy in her class, only to find out that he's actually a shoujo manga artist who has drawn one of her favorite manga. She didn't realize, but she fell in love with him anyway, and through a misunderstanding, she ends up being his assistant in drawing manga. If you come into this show expecting their romance to progress, you will probably be disappointed, but if you really enjoy just hilarious antics, constant subversion of romance and shoujo cliches, and just really funny stuff with really likable characters, more than anything what this show has is a lot of characters that I just love. All of them are great, so highly recommended for comedy fans and anyone who likes that sort of shoujo flavoring. Up next, opposite end of the spectrum, Zankyo no Terror. If you haven't seen it already, I did a 23-minute analysis of just the first episode to prove how this show is so well directed and so well written. Oh, there's not much else to say about it. Episode 2 may or may not be out by the time this video gets out, actually. It should be coming out today, but nonetheless, the first episode was fucking amazing. It was just so well put together. I don't really know enough about the characters or the story or anything to really say what I think it's going to be like in the long run, but if it is as well directed and as well animated as it was in that first episode consistently, then it will have my attention for as long as it needs it. Getting back on the cute side of things, Barakamon is this adorable little show that takes place in a Japanese island, a southern island of Japan. It's about a guy who was a calligraphy artist who was insulted by a critic who basically told him that his calligraphy is too standard, and so he punches the critic in the face and ends up having to leave Tokyo and go to this island in the middle of nowhere. He meets this adorable little girl who's just really fun, and the whole town is like this really small town. Everyone knows each other, totally different experience from what he's had, and he's trying to get inspiration to improve his calligraphy. The show is mostly comedy. There's little bits, little sprinkles of good character development and drama with the lead, with some of the other characters on the island. So it's a lot of just sort of wacky hijinks with these little moments of clarity dispersed in between, and I think it works really well. First 2 episodes both made me laugh a lot, so I'm gonna keep watching it for sure. Up next, the show that I expect to get stupidly popular this season, and that I actually think maybe deserves it a little bit, is Tokyo Ghoul. This is a very violent, dark, and macabre show about this kid who basically gets turned into a ghoul, which is a sort of not quite vampire or zombie, but they're these super-powered beings who eat humans, and they just live among humans in the city. And the main character gets turned into one after an organ transplant where a ghoul has some of her organs put inside of his body. And so he has to sort of learn to adapt to being a ghoul and being someone who has to feed off of other human beings. It's very dark, it's very grim, it's a lot of fun. It's well put together. This show could be so stupid, but because it's well directed and well made, it ends up being fun to watch. And I think people who like those sort of dark, violent shows are definitely going to find a lot to like with this one. Up next, Love Stage. Very cute romance show. Pretty much straight romantic comedy. And I say straight, but it's actually a gay romantic comedy. It's about a young man who's very effeminate, who had done a commercial when he was a kid where he dressed up as a girl, and they're trying to reenact the commercial with the adult versions of the characters, and it's like a wedding scenario, and he has to dress as a woman again, and there's the other actor has been in love with him all this time under the assumption that he was a woman, so the two of them sort of meet up, and it's, you know, they're going to have a romance. There's not entirely sure where it's going, because it's only had 2 episodes, and most of them have been set up, but the characters are really fun. The main character especially is super likable, super adorable. I fucking love him, and his dynamic with the other characters in the show is entertaining to watch, so definitely one I'm looking out for and excited about. Up next, this one is not a new show, but it is a re-edited version of an old one, Psycho Pass, one of my top 5 favorite anime of all time as of seeing it last month. I did an analysis video on it, you can check that out, I'll probably link it below or something. I fucking love Psycho Pass. The original was a 22 episode show, and what they're doing is they're editing it down so that they're making each 2 episodes into one. So it's going to have 11 one-hour episodes. They've added little bits of new footage in there, nothing too significant, but there's no reason not to watch the new version if you haven't seen the original and you want to watch it weekly. I'm doing videos about it just like I am for all of these shows weekly on my DigiDoes Anime channel, and I'm just psyched because I love Psycho Pass. I realize I have not described the plot for you at all, but it doesn't matter, you should watch it because it's good. If you like violent, very psychological, it's really about psychology. A psychological sci-fi drama with lots of just cool stuff and awesome characters, and I love it. Back to lighthearted, there's a show called Sabagebu, which is Survival Game Club, and this is the one I did not expect to love this season. It's actually based on a shoujo manga, but it's interesting because it definitely does not feel like one. It's about a bunch of girls who have a survival game club at school, which survival games basically means playing with airsoft guns and simulating war scenarios, and I expected this to be like a cute girls doing cute things show, and it's not that. It's a crazy, violent girls doing fun things show. It's hilarious to watch. The main character is this spiteful, vengeful bitch, and all the other characters are very violent and fun, and it definitely feels like it's subversive of what you would expect from shoujo manga. These are not girly girls. These are girls who do fucking professional wrestling moves on one another and shoot guns and murder each other, and I mean, it's not violent in like a dark sense. It's all comedy. It's straightforward comedy, but it's fucking hilarious. Up next, if you want to calm down a little, calm your jets, watch a very slow, more mellow show that's a romance. Aoharu Ride, or Blue Spring Ride, is a very solid shoujo romance series. It's about just young, like, high school students in love sort of thing, and about identity and sort of learning who you are. The main character girl was like a girly girl when she was in middle school, but other girls all sort of hated her. So she's trying to put on this persona in high school of someone who is more rough around the edges so that other girls will like her. And, there's a guy who she used to like in middle school, but he's changed exponentially now in high school, and they've met again, and, like, the two of them are sort of trying to come to terms with who they really are, who they're pretending to be in public, and interestingly enough, there hasn't really been a hint of how their romance is going to progress as of the 2nd episode, but there's definitely a lot of good character development there. I'd say the show is a little slow for my taste, but the melodrama is pretty good, the dialogue's pretty good, and I think if the characters resonate with you, if there's something about them that you see in yourself, you will enjoy the show a lot. Up next, perhaps one of the sleeper hits of this season, Loca Dolls. This is an idol show, but really it's just a comedy, very low-key. This is the more cute girls doing cute things show, but it's just very down-to-earth, I guess is how I'd put it. It's about these 2 girls who become local idols. They have to become idols for the small town that they live in because they're trying to draw attention to that town and sort of just promote business and the general livelihood of the town. And that aspect of the show is really cool to me. Like, the way that they go about helping the town to grow feels really cool, and the characters are really likable and cute, and if you buy into the characters, you're gonna enjoy the show. Me and my cousin have really been into it, and so I recommend it. Up next, if you just want some really over-the-top, violent action shows, then you need look no further than Akka ga Kill and Tokyo ESP. Both of these shows are just balls-out action shows. Akka ga Kill is more of a grimdark story, which is weird because it's also a comedy, and it just like will juxtapose like horrible torture and murder and gore against just haha jokes. It's weird, but it kind of weirdly works, at least in my opinion. I mean, it's definitely a your mileage may vary case, but if that sounds good to you, if the idea of like someone getting horrifically murdered and then like jokes, if that idea sounds like something you'd enjoy watching, you'll probably enjoy Akka ga Kill. Tokyo ESP is less humor, more just straight action, but it still has a sort of light vibe where it's just like action, violence, oh, everything's cool, everyone has superpowers. It's very X-Men. It definitely takes a page from the X-Men playbook, and I don't know, the first episode was fun, and I don't know where it's gonna go, but both of these shows, if you want to watch a violent action show, then they're both going to fulfill your needs. I don't know if either of them is necessarily good. I've heard the Akka ga Kill manga is pretty solid, so we'll see what happens. And lastly, if you're like me, and you just want to laugh at some hilariously bad but somehow awesome anime, Bakumatsu Rock. I don't know what it is. I love this show. Me and my friends have been watching it just to laugh, and I don't think we're laughing at it. I think we're laughing with it. I don't want to say it's bad, because it's very entertaining, and I think it knows what it is. But this is a show that's set in the Bakumatsu era of Japan, as in samurai times, as in people carry swords, except it's a pretty boy idol show. It's got the Shinsengumi, which, if you don't know who that is from watching Rurouni Kenshin or something, they were like the samurai police, except now they're idol singers, and they have microphones and stages and lights and cameras and guitars, electric guitars, that aren't plugged into anything, that just exist and they make noise, and my point is, it's stupid as hell, but it's very entertaining in a stupid way. I think it's definitely not a show you should ever watch alone, because you're just going to be like, what the fuck am I watching? But if you watch it with friends who could also appreciate how ridiculous it is, it's very fun to watch. Aside from that, there's Hana Yamata. I dropped it after episode 2. It's a sort of cutesy show about, it's like a cute girls doing cute things show, but with a lot of like a melodrama to it. Like the characters kind of take themselves really seriously and maybe are overly sincere. I know some people who really like the show. I understand people liking it. Not really my thing, but if it sounds like yours, then go ahead and check it out. Maybe watch my videos on it and see what you think. I think that's all the shows I recommend this season. So go check some of them out, and I'll see you in like a week when I do my 10 essential anime that you can watch right now video for this month. Later.